At the edge of Karimpur village stood Bhola Kumar's shabby hut. Bhola had a strange kind of magic. When he touched the clay, it felt like he was breathing life into it. But bad luck followed him like a shadow. The pots he made sold for the price of water in the market because he couldn't afford good clay. The rough village clay made his pots crack as soon as they hit the fire. Bhola had no one in this world except his potter friend Matti. One evening, looking at the empty stove, Bhola rubbed Matti's back and said, "Matti bhai, looks like we'll be going to bed with empty stomachs again tonight. Tomorrow's Eid fair is coming up. If I don't sell good pots, Mullah Sahib's debt will swallow up even this shabby little hut of ours." Matti nodded as if he could feel the owner's pain. Just then, the landlord's clerk was passing by and sneered, "Hey Bhola, are you going to sell broken pots again this time? If you want to make good pots, bring some red sticky clay from Kali Valley tomorrow. I've heard the soil there's like gold, but no one ever makes it back alive." The clerk laughed loudly and walked away. A spark lit up in Bhola's eyes. Kali Valley village. Far away, deep in the dense jungle where people say ghostly spirits dwell. But Bhola had nothing to lose, just hunger and poverty. He quietly made up his mind. This time, Matti, maybe luck will change or death will come. We will definitely go to Kali Valley. The next morning, before the first light of dawn, Bhola and Matti set off. Bhola carried a hoe on his shoulder and Matti had 2 sacks strapped to his back for carrying soil. As the village disappeared behind them, the lush greenery started to thin out and the silence grew deeper. Just as they reached the entrance of Kali Valley, Matti suddenly stopped. He planted his feet firmly, he dug into the ground and refused to move forward. He started shouting loudly and pulling backward. Animals sense danger before humans do. "Come on, brother, just a little more." Bhola nervously pulled the rope. "If we don't get soil today, we'll starve anyway. What's there to fear of death?" Somehow, Bhola tied the rope to a dry tree and went down into the valley himself. The view there was astonishing. The soil was red and soft like butter. Bhola's fatigue vanished instantly. Like a madman, he started digging with the hoe. He quickly filled the bags with soil. Suddenly, the wind, everything stopped. The birds completely fell silent. Then from right behind came a sharp sound. It sounded like pieces of glass clinking against each other. "What the heck? Tarakumar, hurry up and get moving." Bhola's whole body started trembling. The hoe slipped from his hand. He slowly turned around. Sitting on the branch of the old banyan tree was a woman, stunningly beautiful, but her eyes were empty, like a huge void. She smiled, but it was the kind of smile that made your blood run cold. She jumped down from the tree, not a sound from the dry leaves. She started moving slowly towards Bhola. He fell to his knees on the ground. With all his strength, he begged desperately, "Please don't kill me, sir. I'm just a poor guy, trying to fill my hungry belly. I'll leave empty-handed." The woman stepped closer, bent down to look at Bhola's face, and said in a cold voice, "When did I ever say I wanted to kill you? It's been years since anyone came here, and such a talented person at that. I've been watching you ever since you came down to the valley." Bhola started trembling. Tears began to roll down his cheeks. He touched the red soil and said, "This soil is very special. But Bhola, there's something missing in it. It's mine." Tears were needed. Only then could it be heard. Bhola mustered up his courage and asked, "Who are you?" She burst out laughing. Her laughter sent the jungle birds flying. People wouldn't call me crazy before. Now even I don't know what I am. There was pain in her voice. "I want to be with you, Kumar. I'm tired of this emptiness." Bhola felt like this was his last moment. But in Zarina's eyes, he didn't see hunger. He saw a strange longing. Not fear, but loneliness. "If I don't kill you," Zarina said with a condition, "then will you join me with this earth? With me?" "You're taking me? Taking me home?" Zarina asked softly. "I promise I'll make you the biggest bachelor in the world. There's just one condition." The wind started blowing harder. From above, Matir's voice was heard. Bhola, who was trying to break free from the rope out of fear, had stopped running. On one side was death, on the other, an unknown being. "What's the condition, sir?" Zarina smiled slowly, and the words that came from her lips floated in the air. "The condition is simple, bachelor. I'll go with you.
Stay in your house, share my strength in your sorrows, but no one else except you will ever see me. The day a third person sees me, if anyone tries to talk to me or look at me, I'll be gone forever. And remember, me leaving won't be good for you. There's no time to think about forgetting. Hunger is stronger than fear. Shaking, he folded his hands and bowed his head. I agree, sir. I'll come to my broken, shabby home. I won't tell anyone. Jarina let out a long sigh, like she was shaking off 100 years of tiredness. Then let's go, Kumar. From now on, my fate is tied to your wheel. Vola nervously climbed upstairs. Matir was calling out badly. Bola and Jarina went upstairs. As soon as he arrived, Matir used all his strength to free the rope. His eyes were filled with endless fear. Calm down, Matir. Calm down, Bola said, patting his back, but his own hands were cold. The sacks were piled onto Matir's back. Zarina climbed up on top of the sacks. Matir's body started to wobble, like the load had suddenly gotten much heavier. Even though Zarina didn't have a physical body, this fragile creature could feel the weight of her presence. The night was long. The moon was playing hide and seek with the clouds. Bola walked ahead, the rope trailing behind him. Behind him was Matir and an invisible presence riding on him. All along the way, Zarina kept humming a tune, one like no other. There was neither joy nor sorrow, just something that made the soul shiver. By the time they reached the village, it was already midnight. Karimpur was asleep. The dogs barked, but as soon as Zarina glanced at them, they tucked their tails and ran off. Bola opened the bamboo door of the hut. Inside, it was pitch black. In one corner, there was a broken wheel, a dry pot, torn clothes, poverty scattered everywhere. In the dim light, the hut's misery became even clearer. Bola felt ashamed. This is my home, sir. Please forgive me. There's nothing worthy here for you. Zarina leaned against the wall. Then the broken. He came up to Chaka and said, Palaces and huts are made for people, Bola. I only want the smell of the earth. Then he pointed at Chaka and said, Go ahead. I want to see how much magic you've got in your hands. Bola was tired but had no choice. He went outside, took some red clay from the earth's surface and mixed it with water. Usually it took him hours, but today, as soon as he added water, the clay softened like butter. Bola sat on the wheel, put the clay on it and started spinning. With the sound of the wheel turning, it began to move. But today his hands weren't under his control. He felt like someone was.
Her hand felt cold and velvety. Zarina was sitting right behind him. Her hand was shaping the earth, matching his. Feel it, Bola, Zarina whispered in his ear. Her voice was as cold as ice. Don't hold the earth back. Let it flow. And then the magic happened, something Bola never even dreamed of. That ordinary red clay spinning on the wheel started to shine. Bola was just shaping it, but the design appeared on its own. Flowers, leaves, vines, such perfect detail, impossible even with the tip of a needle. When the wheel stopped, in front of them stood a strangely beautiful pot. The wet clay looked more like copper. The perfect design of the structure and the other's handiwork made it come alive. Bola's eyes widened in surprise. He was drenched in sweat, trembling with fear. But like a craftsman, he was fascinated by his own creation. I made this, he said, showing his red clay-covered palm. Zarina stood in the corner, a satisfied smile on her face. This is just the beginning, Kumar. Now go to sleep. Tomorrow the world will see what Bola's hands can do. But remember, the skill is mine, the hands are yours. The day you say something to Mukosh, it'll all go up in smoke. Bola looked at the shiny kettle, then stood in the dark corner. He stayed looking toward that shadow. From outside, Mutir's call was heard. Bola realized that to get rid of poverty, he had pawned his shadow to some unknown power. The next morning, Bola took Moti along and reached the biggest merchant in the market, Seth Karim, standing outside his box shop. The magical pot was tied up in a sack on Moti's back. Bola's heart was pounding. With shaky hands, he pulled back the blanket. As soon as he did, the people standing nearby were stunned. That pot didn't look like it was made of clay. It seemed like a mix of copper and gold, and the perfect design on it made it come alive. Seth Kareem, who was sitting on his throne puffing on his hookah, suddenly froze with the hookah still in his hand. "Hey, what's this thing, Bola?" He got down from his seat, adjusted his glasses, and reached out to touch the pot but stopped short. "Is this made of clay or metal? In my 40 years of business, I've never seen anything shine like this." Bola, sweating nervously, lied. "Sir, this is an old family heirloom. A special kind of soil and a unique kind of fire went into making it." He tapped the pot with his finger, and it rang out like a bell. "Unmatched, truly." Bola asked, "How much will you pay?" "I'll take 10 rupee coins." Whispering spread through the crowd as Bola, all his life he had barely managed to keep even a single silver coin, maybe 10 or 15 at most, but no more than that. He opened the bag right away and dropped the shiny 15 coins onto Bola's palm. The coins felt heavy in his hand, but even heavier was the secret he'd been hiding. After that night, Bola's world changed. Every night, a strange court would gather in his hut. Outside, it was dead silent. Inside, pure magic. Bola sat on the wooden stool, with Zarina right behind him. All night long, unmatched pots and vessels were crafted. Slowly, the broken hut turned into a solid home. No more rainwater leaking through the roof. Moti was the happiest. His forehead never even had a single dry blade of grass on it, and now he was eating fresh chickpeas and jaggery. Moti was starting to look healthy, but there was always a shadow of fear in his eyes. He often stared toward that corner where Zarina used to sit, listening intently. News about Bola Kama's progress spread like wildfire through the village. Some said, "The guy who couldn't even light a fire at home yesterday is now lighting ghee lamps. He must have found some secret treasure." Others said, "No way, I heard he's learned black magic. All night you can hear whispering sounds coming from his house." Bola ignored all these rumors. Bokobor was lost in his own world, but the problem was, without realizing it, he had started talking to Zarina even during the day. One afternoon, Bokobor was sitting in the yard eating. Zarina was sitting right in front of him, invisible. While eating, Bokobor laughed and said, "Hey Zarina, the curry's a bit low on salt today." Just then, the neighbor Akbar peeked from behind the wall. He saw Bokobor talking and laughing to empty air. There was no one there. Akbar turned pale with fear and ran away as fast as he could. He went all around the village beating drums, shouting, "Guys, I saw with my own eyes. Bokobor has gone mad." It's done. Someone was mentioning a woman named Zarina, but there was no woman there, yet someone still gave the right answer. The villagers' doubts started turning into belief. Bola wasn't just rich anymore. He had become a source of fear for them. People were scared to walk past his house. Kids would shout, "Magician, magician," whenever they saw him. Bola had no idea that along with his growing fame, a big trouble was knocking at his door. When these things reached the ears of the village head Jafar Khan, he lost his mind. The same Kumar whom he had kicked off the road yesterday. Big businessmen used to move out of his way, standing in line outside his house. Jafar Khan, while puffing on his hookah, told his henchman Cengiz, "Cengiz, you see that Duri kid? Now he's thinking of making pots taller than ours. I heard Nawab himself is coming from the city to pick up pots made by Duri's own hands." Cengiz, fanning the fire, replied, "Boss, it's not just about money. People say there's some higher power at work. Otherwise, how could one man make 100 pots every night with designs that no human hand could pull off?" A cruel smile spread on Jafar Khan's face. "Higher power, huh? Black magic, that's the chance. If it's proven that he's using jinn or ghosts, the villagers themselves will stone him out of the village. Tonight, we'll see for ourselves what kind of mess he's cooking up in his filthy hut." It was a pitch-black new moon night. The whole village was fast asleep, but a faint light still glowed in Bola's house. Behind the house, hidden under thick neem trees, Jafar Khan and Cengiz sneaked and hid. From inside, there was the sound of a spinning wheel. Jafar Khan peeked through the window crack. What he saw made his blood run cold. Near the spinning wheel, Bola was sitting there, but he wasn't touching the ground. The wheel was spinning fast all on its own.
The wet soil floated in the air, shaped by invisible fingers. In the blink of an eye, the lifeless lump of earth turned into a beautiful pot. Bola looked up at the empty space and smiled. "Zarina, you must be tired. Take a little rest now." Cengiz's foot landed on a dry leaf. There was a soft crunch. Immediately, silence fell. The wheel stopped spinning. "Who's there?" Bola shouted. Jafar Khan and Cengiz turned and ran the other way. They realized this wasn't something human. Jafar Khan. Sweat dripped down his forehead, but a cruel smile stayed on his lips. "This time you won't survive, Bola. Not this time." The next morning, before Bola even woke up, heavy blows on his door started. "Come out, fraud! Come out, magician!" the crowd shouted. Bola panicked and stepped outside. Moti was trying to untie the rope and shouting loudly. Maybe he sensed the danger ahead. The village chief and Jafar Khan stood at the front with the crowd. Behind them, the whole village, kids, women, old folks, all holding stones or sticks. The same people who praised Bola just yesterday were now looking at him with hatred. "He's staring." Jafar Khan stepped forward and roared. "This Kumar isn't just the kid from the village anymore. He's become a sorcerer, using the power of the local spirits. I've seen it with my own eyes. Even Cengiz Mujer has. Pots float in his house like they're in thin air." The crowd erupted in noise. "Beat him! That witch is protecting him!" The village chief raised his hand and silenced everyone. Then, looking straight at Bola, he said, "Bola, tell the truth. What's the secret?"
Behind your sudden rise, Jafar Khan's claims, are they true? If you lie, you and that donkey of yours will be kicked out of the village right now. Bhola's spirit, he shuddered. Sweaty and quiet, he remembered Zarina's promise. The day he tells anyone, he'll leave. Trembling, he said, "No, boss, this is all the result of my own hard work. I didn't use any magic." Jafar Khan stepped forward and grabbed the collar of Bhola's shirt. "Only hard work can make the ground dance in the air. If you don't tell the truth right now, I'll set your shanty on fire." Chengiz Khan grabbed a burning torch and started moving toward the house. Muti began jumping around like a madman, as if trying to say something to Bhola. Bhola looked towards his house, his years and years of hard work. Then that invisible, he sensed something, like Zarina was standing there watching everything. The leader said, "Bhola, this is your last chance. Either tell the truth, or today will definitely be your last day." The crowd's shouting grew louder. The torches were getting closer to his face. Fear broke his patience. Bhola fell to his knees and started crying out loud. "Stop! Please don't burn my house. I'll tell you everything." The wind died down. Silence fell. "Yes, I don't make these pots alone. There's a power, a woman who helps me." As these words came out of Bhola's mouth, the flames of the burning torches went out. One pot. A strong chilly wind started blowing. Dust and dry leaves began swirling around. People in the crowd started pushing and shoving. "What's going on?" Jafar Khan asked, trembling. Just then Zarina's voice came through. There was no anger in her voice, just the cry of a broken heart. "Bhola, what have you done? I only asked you for one promise. Was this mud house more important to you than me?" Bhola reached out with tearful hands but couldn't touch her. "Please forgive me, Huzur. I got scared. I'm a coward, but please don't leave me, Huzur," Zarina said. With a bitter smile, he said, "It's human nature to get scared, Bhola. I left my world and came to yours because I fell in love with your talent. But our worlds can never really be one. Today you've thrown away that screen that stood between us. My time is up, Bhola. I can't stay here anymore." "No, Zarina. If you leave, I'll just become that useless Kumhar again." Zarina bent down and placed her hands over Bhola's trembling ones. Now it wasn't cold anymore. She felt a strange new strength. "I am leaving, but my talent is yours. I am letting go. From now on, you won't need me anymore. Whenever your hands touch the earth, my memory will be with you." Saying this, Bhola touched fate and said, "Goodbye, Kumhar." And then he disappeared. The crowd had long since run away. Bhola sat in the same spot for hours on end, staring into the empty air. After a few days, feeling heavy-hearted, he placed some soil on the wheel. He thought maybe nothing would come of it this time. But as soon as he moved his hands, magic happened. Zarina wasn't there, but Bhola's fingers worked on their own. The same pot, the same glaze, the same perfect design. Zarina had kept her promise. He was made the best craftsman in the world. Years went by. Bhola is now old.
the most famous and richest craftsman in the country. Nawabs and wealthy people used to pay huge amounts just to marry their daughters to him. He had a huge workshop, had dozens of employees. But the villagers still said Bhola was crazy. On moonlit nights, he'd often leave his workshop and head towards the Kali Valley. He'd sit under that old tree for hours, talk to the wind, make clay toys and leave them near the tree roots. He was rich, talented, but in his eyes, even today, it was the same